Caught husband with my best friend. I, 38 female, and my husband, 40 male, have been together since I was 20, and he 22. We have one child together who is 17, male. I have known my best friend, 38 female, since we were 11. We will call bestie Sarah and hubby Joe. Sarah and I do not get to see each other in the way that we used to, as about 6 years ago, she moved to a different province. She is roughly 3 hours away. We text bi-daily at the least, and usually video chat 2 times a week with a glass of wine and weekly recaps. Suffice to say we are, or were, still very close despite the distance life has dealt us. Now Joe travels a lot for work, and it's not uncommon for him to be gone for a week at a time here and there. He usually leaves on a Saturday or a Sunday and checks into his hotel so he is fresh-faced on Monday. Always home on weekends. On this particular Wednesday, he said he was going to leave that Friday instead, as he had some prep work to do before Monday and just wanted to allot himself enough time to do so without stressing last minute. I didn't think much of it and told him it made sense. I looked forward to having the house to myself for the weekend as my son was going to his best friends to game for the weekend as they often do. Friday rolls around, and my boy comes home from school, packs his things, and heads out. All is good there. Joe's flight was at 8:40 p.m. so we still got to enjoy dinner together before he left for the airport. He kisses me, and leaves. The house is quiet. Too quiet. I get some tidying done, have a relaxing bath, and tuck in with some Netflix. Life's good. I wake up on Saturday and tackle the day with some Christmas shopping and lunch. I arrive back home around 1 p.m. and get a load of laundry done. This brings me to about 3 p.m. It sounds silly, but as much as I was looking forward to being alone all weekend, I was bored and over it by this point, so I figured, hey, I'm gonna grab a bottle of wine and call Sarah up later for some girl time to help my evening go by a lot faster. In the same breath, I realized, heck it. I have nobody to cook for or cater to tonight. I am gonna surprise her in person with a bottle of wine. Into the car, I go. I arrive in her area at around 7 p.m., all giddy and pumped up. I know she is going to be stunned and excited when she opens the door. Let the squeals ensue. Well, as I rounded the corner onto her block, I was the stunned one. There is another car there. My husband's make and model. My heart drops, but I tell myself there is just no way, and I actually feel guilty and silly for thinking it could be him. It is a common vehicle after all. As I pull up to the house, I can see now it is his car. I am sick. Beyond sick. I can't describe the sinking feeling I felt, as I can honestly say it's the first time I've ever had that feeling. I kept trying to justify an innocent reason for this and I came up empty-handed. Anger sets in. I walk up to the door and begin pounding in the way I imagine the police would do in dire urgency. I hear Sarah's footsteps approaching and a confused tone in her voice as I hear her say, I really don't know, I'm not expecting anybody. Our eyes meet as she peeks through the little decorative diamond-shaped glass of her front door. Ooh, she says, as she heel spins to walk away but back again. I tell her to open the door. At this point, my husband has heard me through the front door and I hear him groan and say something along the lines of, this can't be real. Did you tell her to come here? How did she know? She opens the door, and he acts as if I didn't just hear their exchange of words on the other side of the door. I demand to know WTF this is. She is completely stunned and stands back with her hand over her mouth as he fumbles his words and tells me he stopped there before leaving for his trip to plan a surprise New Year party for me with Sarah. As if. I quickly tell him that's not true, and such a thing can also be correlated via any other source of communication that does not include spending the night with my best friend. I look past them to see what looks to be the aftermath of a romantic dinner for 2 on her dining room table and a cozy blanket on her couch with 2 glasses on the coffee table. I am in tears at this point. He has the nerve to then accuse me of having looked through his messages and being the sneaky one. I am baffled. I tell him to get his crap and get out of there. He refuses, citing he still has to leave for his work trip the following day. I tell him not. Get your things and we are getting a room for the night to discuss this. He reluctantly agrees. He asks me to wait in the car for him, which I say no to. I begin to yell at Sarah as he scampers around collecting his whatnots. She is apologetic but tells me she hopes this is just a bump in our friendship and we can work past this. What an absolute joke. This is not a bump, but an entire mountain that has been placed on and crushed any remnants of our friendship. Fast forward to finally getting to a hotel with space, husband confesses, as if I needed a confession, to having been with her a few times in the past, but maintaining a long-distance relationship with Sarah for the past 4 years. 4 years. I am breathless. He subsequently cancels his work trip and ends up coming back home, where we spend most of the next day arguing before our son comes home that evening. We keep it hush around him, but he can tell we are on the outs. This brings us to now. The following Friday. We have spent all week arguing, talking, crying, and just trying to figure out where to go from here. We always had a loving relationship. He says he just got bored but has developed deep feelings for Sarah and vice versa. He begs for forgiveness daily and has made a point to cut ties with Sarah to try and save our marriage, but my trust is non-existent, and my hurt-o-meter is redlined. I've been too ashamed to share this information with other friends, especially the friends Sarah and I have in common.